Welcome everyone to Anime Aftershows, the shows we do high quality aftershows of your favorite anime. Today we are doing on Healing Good, uh, Healing Good PreCure episode 23, and I'm now here and joined on my right, left, right, I think, yeah, right is the ad man.
How's it?
So, a couple of housekeepings. First, you may be noticing we're 2 weeks late on this. You know, whoa, 1 week as of recording, 2 week as of this going up. So we're gonna start recording stuff kind of in bulk. As bulk as you can with like current stuff. So that way we'll have a new episode each week, and it'll help with consistency and stuff like that. So, but before we begin the actual discussion, make sure to like, comment, listen it to audio platforms, play, download. I'm apparently supposed to say all that stuff. So, okay, so we are here to talk about Healing Good episode 23. So we're kind of ditching the pros and cons, and we're just gonna freeform it and see how things go, and hopefully we can keep the episodes around 25-ish minutes. So, what did you think of episode 23, which I know was like a week ago for you, but I
Yeah, week or two, however you want to look at it. But yeah, it's still kind of fresh in my mind, even though it didn't leave the strongest impact on me. I'll admit. It was the last. It's basically the last of the Asumi getting to know the original trio saga, and
mm-hmm.
it was fine. I guess if I were just to sum it up, it
I don't
was
know.
cute.
I really like it because it really features two of my favorite characters, Hinata and Asumi. So having those two together, I think was a very interesting like combination because they're both kind of odd and crazy and wacky in their own different ways.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fun and everything. It's just that uh, it was yet another. It was basically this whole saga is just this whole three-part saga basically has been about Asumi getting to know the original trio, and it just started to get a little bit repetitive. And
I think it's more than just that though. Like how I saw it is Asumi learning human emotions. Like I feel like that this episode really played on she doesn't really understand human emotions, so all these words she doesn't quite get, and like it's not something you can just teach. It's something you have to learn, and
yeah, that's interesting and everything. It's just that it was basically the same format every time, though. You have her wondering what an abstract concept like cuteness or tastiness is, and she needs to learn it and all that.
I
It's
mean, how else do you think you can do it though?
it's not. It's just that I'm not saying that it's not a bad thing. It's just that it got repetitive. Is all. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I could see. Maybe. Do you think it's because she's also getting to know the kids too? If it's just focused on like one, if it like learning the kids or focusing on the emotion thing, do you think it would have flowed better? What I'm saying is, since she knows the kids, if they did more like episodes for focusing on her learning emotions, since we're not
No, 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 no.
since we're not having to deal with learning the kids, do you think it would flow better?
I wouldn't want it to go more than 3 episodes, which they kind of did, which we'll talk about next time. But right now, it's just that there was too much focus on Asumi. I feel like for these 3 episodes, and even going into the next week's episode, as I said.
I guess it like comes down if you like Asumi as a character or not. Like if you're not like the biggest Asumi fan,
I
which I
don't.
am.
I don't.
Like
I don't. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm like really liking Asumi, so I don't mind this format. Focusing on Asumi and stuff. Like I find her a very interesting character. Maybe I haven't seen as much Precure and as much of these Tokusatsu inspired Tokusatsu shows.
But you've
To
seen enough Power Rangers to know what a Six Ranger is like, right?
yeah. I know, and I don't think I've seen a Six Ranger done this way before. At least on
Yeah,
Power
because
Rangers, I think the closest would either be like Zing, uh, could you the person,
Zane,
yeah,
Zane, the Silver Ranger.
yeah, or funnily enough, another Silver Ranger, Orion from Megaforce.
One of the actually good aspects of that show.
Yeah,
One of the
I
really legit.
I really like his character in that. He's the
Mostly because he was the only good character.
yeah. It sucks because some of those actors were like very passionate and stuff. They just weren't given a lot.
Yeah, but yeah, personally for this, I understand what they're trying to do with Asmi, and they're trying to make her a more interesting character, which I get. But I think doing 3 episodes in a row might have been a mistake.
So, do you think it should have been one, two?
One or two, maybe spaced out a little bit more. Like
Like,
also maybe
what would you cut?
I would say they could still do episodes like this, but also do at least a little bit with a little bit more focused on the villains and all that.
Yeah,
It,
they've kind of been focused on the villains, but more of the mega villain kind of stuff. But we
the mega
haven't
parts
really
with the mega.
got much character development of the villains of late. So
Yeah, and that's a problem. The most development we've gotten is Darizen, who we'll talk about in the next episode. But
yeah,
yeah, other than him, there's Guaiwaru's gotten a little bit more was the villain this week, and I thought he was pretty fun. He was at least fun.
hmm
And
I'm.
just his big muscle headness.
I mean, you could make the argument since this is a show that has like more episodes than your typical like anime. You could make the argument they have plenty of time.
Yeah, but it also another problem with Asumi I had in this episode is and this whole saga is that she needs a serious nerfing like now.
I mean, it makes sense within the context
It
of
makes
this.
sense, but it doesn't. But it makes the battles boring. It's always been focused so far. Ever since her debut, she's been the focus and she's been the thing that dishes off. Just like literally, they don't even have to be there to beat it. And that's a problem.
Yeah, and something interesting I've noticed. Maybe this is something that happens a lot in kind of shows, but her like transformation is kind of separate from the others.
Yeah, and that's generally what it's like with the
Oh,
Six Rangers.
okay,
They have like a different sequence. They have a different sequence, and it just like is a little bit separate. At least they do the roll call together.
okay.
Let's see. But yeah, if I also want to say a few more good things, I guess it was cute. It was a cute episode. That's obvious.
Yeah, I like the whole idea of like cute because we can give examples of what cute is, but is it something you can really explain?
It's not really. You can kind of explain it like they did here, where they said it. You have to actually get to know the subject in order to understand whether or not it's cute or not, truly cute or not.
I don't think you necessarily have to turn like
Like you could get to know the subject like in order to truly say it's cute. If like you could see somebody cute on television and say, "Ooh, they're cute. That person's kind of cute," and then like and then you learn about them in real life, and they're like, yeah.
yeah.
You could learn about them. I won't say the name. I have too many examples of people you could say is cute, but then you turn out. Yeesh.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
Yep. Thank you, Twitter.
But yeah, I like how it's really like asking the question like, what is like an emotion? You know?
That stuff is interesting, I'll admit. But yeah, I was just getting tired of. I would just say I was getting a little bit tired of this format of it. Of basically present the problem for Asumi, have her have a talk with the Precure, and then have a speech in the middle of the fight. That just got a little bit repetitive to
I
me, and
mean, these. But to be fair, uh, these superhero shows are very formal, formulaic in general.
they can be formulaic, but they don't have to always have to do it like the same time every time. And sorry for my phone.
It's okay.
And yeah, they don't have to do it the same thing every time. Like recently I've been watching like the newest Super Sentai Kirara Major, and they do have like the speeches about about the lesson of the
Yeah.
day in those episodes, but they
Yeah.
don't always are in the fight. They sometimes are out of the fight and have the characters reflect on it throughout the episode.
Yeah.
This one, it's always like they learn it,
I
talk
mean,
about it, and then talk about it in the fight.
it's not as bad as a certain well, okay, French magical good inspired show, which you may or may not know what I'm talking about.
Mm.
Miraculously, but
Oh, haven't seen much of that. Oh, excuse you, by the way. Yeah, don't watch many French magical girl anime. I'm sorry to say, but
it's okay. But like the problem is they okay. We're 3 seasons in, and the status quo is the same.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, it got a little bit repetitive. I'm kind of glad it's over, and just but yeah, back onto some. If I were to say like, I will say it was at least a good fight this week,
yeah,
as well.
yeah. I really like the fight. Though you are better at noticing and analyzing animations. So anything you noticed?
I noticed that they were using a much well. Just like looking at some of the clips here, it's I think they at least like were able to use a lot more. For one thing, there's a lot less of the of seeing faces like in an Aoyama episode where like they just there's at least a lot more expressions. Like even the dog when the puppy was about to be
He's like
attacked
your
by
go-to.
what Aoyama
Yeah.
because he's a bad animator.
Like he's your go-to of like what not to do.
But yeah, but thing is that his animation does lacks impact, and this episode had a good amount of impact to every attack, which is which help which just helps to of course up the drama, up like making it look like the little doggy's going to die or something like that. It's it gets you engaged when there's livelier animation like this. I also like the design. I also like just like the design, the fact that they fought a giant piece of corn. It reminded me of an
Yeah,
awful Stephen King
I
movie.
didn't like really like notice the corn at the end. Like I'm being honest. I don't like really truly notice the monster design or like what it is until towards the end. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, that's what that was.
yeah. It was a giant stalk of corn and a giant corn on the cob, and it was it's based. And if you've seen like a few Stephen King movies, he's afraid of corn for whatever reason.
I've actually never seen a Stephen King movie.
Start with Children of the Corn and enjoy the stupidity.
But like
Yep.
these villains are they're not the most original when choosing the monster of the week.
Yeah, they're not original, and but I just like the fact that this was a piece of corn that also. One of my commenters pointed this out. I just find it absolutely hilarious. You know that point where where its hair started coming out and it started attacking the Precure.
Yeah.
Fun fact: apparently, that's a reproductive organ.
Wait. For real?
Yeah, that's how corn basically spreads its seeds and everything. So it was basically Just leave it. Let's leave it at that and not go too much.
Oh
But
yeah.
what do you think it looked like when it wrapped itself around the little girls?
You know this is supposed to be an anime target to little girls, man.
I know, but so they just have to keep that on the down low.
Anyways,
I mean, it's yeah.
one thing I forgot to mention, back to the whole like emotion thing. One thing I like is Asumi really questioning like her not being human. She
Mhm,
kind of thinks because she's not human, she can't feel these emotions,
mhm.
which I found another kind of interesting and mature kind of like topic. You know,
Yeah,
they're not just like forgetting that like she's not human because they easily could never mention she's not human ever again, but they keep bringing it up. So I'm glad
yeah,
they keep bringing it up and not forgetting about it. So
yeah. I'll admit that's a great thing because if you go back a couple seasons, the Hagato they completely forgot that one of their characters was an android for a few episodes.
really,
Yep, she still kind of talked like an android and everything, but she also was super emotional. She ate a ton of food and just was just there to be a little weird and not really so much an android anymore. Like if you're gonna have an android character, actually have them take advantage of that and not just be one of the girls. So with Asumi being a spirit, that hasn't been forgotten.
yeah. So one, I hope they keep doing stuff with her not being human. Two, it gives me hope that because one of our concerns was that they were gonna drop certain plot points,
Yeah,
and this gives me hope they're not, and so I'm hoping for my Notica relapse episode.
yeah, we'll see about that. Right now, as I said, most of the focus is on Asumi,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
will be at least for the next couple of episodes, it seems.
yeah. But at least it gives me hope that the writers aren't afraid to deal with these kind of topics. So
Yeah.
I'm glad for that. It keeps me uh hopeful. So
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to talk about with this one?
I just like some like stuff. So I forget what part it happened, but well, I think it's when Asumi starts making progress with her like thought process. I guess she like kind of like sprints walk.
Yeah, that was funny.
I found that like hilarious. Like I mean, like I find like Asumi just a hilarious character. That's like part.
And that was also a good example of some great animation for comedic effect.
Yeah, like that was just great.
Super smooth, and it was more comedic because it was just so super smooth.
Yeah, she's just
Like,
but
there was so many frames. There were so many frames to just that little sequence. It's like, okay, you're kind of crazy, both you and the animators.
they really wanted to get that comedic timing.
Hmm.
You gotta like commend them for that. But I guess like a final. I'm, I'm trying to figure out a good final thing to mention, but I'll just say, regarding like Hinata, I just like love her like attitude towards things and towards life.
Hmm.
She kind of, in a way, she's kind of incompetent, but in a way, she's kind of laid back. You know.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, and I think it was a good like contrast with Asumi, who's still trying to kind of figure out who she is and figure out this whole emotion. Oh, and another thing, I like towards the end, she just like name drops like a emotion she just figured out, loneliness.
Yeah.
So I like how she's figuring out new emotions for herself, and that goes on to just having to name them all the time. So I like that. So
Yeah.
so anything you want to add?
Nothing much else.
Yeah, but overall, I really like this episode. You said you thought it was a kind of okay episode, right?
Yeah, that was an okay episode. Just to summarize, I would say it's an okay episode. Hinata, just like Hinata and Asumi are a fun pair. I would say if the let's just if I were to like rank the pairings for this little arc, I would say my favorite is probably Chiyu and Asumi, followed by Hinata, and then Nodoka last. All three of them were great. I would just say like Nodoka was definitely more of like a little bit like a leader, so she basically had to. So she backed off a little. So I would say it wasn't quite as interesting as the other three, but still good stuff.
I don't know. I would really like if I had to rank them. I would probably go Hinata, Nodoka, and Chewie. I really like Hinata's arc. Maybe it's because I'm like a fan of Hinata um and Asumi. So
Yeah, I kind of like the dynamic of her and Chiyu a little bit more because I think it's just like the both of them are more above expressing through they're similar in so many ways and yet still trying to learn about how to express their emotions more, which I find a little bit more interesting than somebody who's really emotional like Hinata.
I don't know. I feel like having a really emotional and not as emotional person is a good contrast, and it kind of makes ask me kind of wonder why is this person emotional. It's like good to like surround yourself
Yeah,
with a super emotional
yeah,
person.
yeah. But thing is also that Hinata also wasn't the one who completely explained the lesson of the day. Part of it went to Chiyu because Hinata's not good at explaining stuff. They so yeah.
Oh, it's Hinata.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just my general thoughts about this episode as well as this little arc, which kind of still going to continue, but more on that.
Yes. So I'm curious what the next episode's going to uh lead. I know you've already seen the next episode, so
Yeah, yeah. So I'll let you see it for yourself, and we can talk about it.
cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed our discussion. Any final words, wisdom you want to say to the people that might be watching or listening to this?
And nothing much. I would say go watch Kira Major for one thing. I've been watching it for the last few days. And it's been really good.
Is that the new one?
Yeah, it's the latest Sentai.
How many episodes is out?
It's currently in the early 20s due to the pandemic, but they managed to recover really well because even in spite of it.
Are you like all the way caught up, or
Just about caught up, and I think like I'm about to hit episode 20 or so. I've just been addicted to it. It's been it, yeah, yeah. If I could just take this moment to recommend a good one, watch it. Episode 11 is my favorite, I think, and yeah, it's good stuff.
I might have to check it out if I can find time. But this has been episode 23 of Healin'Good PreCure, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching this after show. This after show was hosted by and created by me, Nanohero. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRealNanoHero. Also, make sure to check out the links of our amazing co-hosts in the description below. you like this episode, make sure to leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe. For all your listeners, make sure to subscribe, leave a rating, and download the episode. Also, make sure to check out other cool channels and brands in the description below, and I will see you guys in the next after show.